All right, Facebook world. This is where we're at today. Weapons Wednesday, starting with a little bonus crafting. This guy right here, gonna turn into a weapon. Got these at the dollar store. I call them 50-cent noodles because I can make 2 weapons usually out of them. Here's how you go to the center point, bend it in half. If you have a marker or pen, you do that. This is a very sharp knife. I don't say you need to use it, but that's what I'm going to use. You could also have your parents help you there. Your goal is to get this one cut in half so they're roughly about the exact same length. Good. You see, I've done this once before, so it looks like it's the same length. 2 weapons are better than 1, but 1 weapon's better than none. So let me double check that I seem to be visible, and so is the table. Some basics of going over how to make weapons. I have a giant craft supply of tape. You don't need to have that many. This is the basic, boring gray color. The reason why I like basic, boring gray is because it's not very expensive and you get a lot of it. Side note, we'll clean up that later. What's your basic materials that most people don't think about? Nice pair of scissors. Duct tape cuts better with scissors than it does ripping. Some tape is very easy to rip, some tape isn't. Another secret trick to fighting duct tape is WD-40 beats tape stickiness. So I'm WD-40 in this thing, and then I am WD-40ing the scissors. I'm going really slow with the scissors when I'm cleaning them because I don't want to cut myself. And the more lubricated these scissors are, the easier they will be to cut things, including body parts if you're not paying attention to them. Next thing to notice is that duct tape is a skill, and an art form maybe. When you're getting good at it, you're really good at ripping it open, really good at making the measurements. Almost gave myself a paper cut with tape. I guess that's possible. Now, one of the bigger mistakes that most people make when they're doing their noodle making is they make it too many colors, which is sad because colors are harder to do, and they make it sideways. To make it a more flexible noodle and also make it hurt less, it's better to do it long ways. Now you can still do multiple colors, but this first one I'm going to make is going to be boring and effective. So another secret I learned from my friend Steve is that if you start with a bend to your noodle, a bend meaning that I have it curved as I'm placing it on the tape, it will actually be more flexible when you're swinging it around willy-nilly. Another thing I'm doing is I'm using a nice hard flat surface, and you want to cut things in a nice easy way. So here you see how there's a little crinkle there. What you do to fix that is you kind of rebend it, and then you push in an angle so that the crinkle goes away. If there's a little bend there and you don't like it, you get rid of it. If you don't mind it, you don't get rid of it. You just let it go. Now I'm bending it as I'm placing it. And these wrinkles, that's actually a sign that it'll actually bend this way too. If you have it bent out, it'll actually bend back also. If you have it bent this way, it will not be able to open. And if it can't open, then it loses its flexibility and henceforth hurt more. So, same thing I'm doing before, I always measure backwards. So if I'm trying to measure this accurately, your goal would be to measure it with the non-sticky side first. So if I were to measure it exactly, it'd be right here. Now remember, we're bending it, so I actually want it too long. So I'll go a little bit further past that. And this is about 2 or 3 inches on each side that I'm going too far. Then same thing before, I want to have the tape in a safe location. I actually want to have a little strain in the tape as I'm cutting. I want to cut away from myself because that keeps myself from being cut. Same thing as I did before, I place on this nice flat surface. My goal is to just overlap a little itty bit. The less you overlap, the less tape you're using, which makes it lighter, which makes it hurt less. The hard part about this skill is making sure that we actually tape it in a way that we're not overlapping kind of squiggly liney. So I have a couple options, and it's probably going to be best if I This is difficult. I'm going to try reversing this. Place this in a spot so that it's already there. I'm going to start it in the middle. And when I don't place it down hard, I get to choose my bendability already. So I'm going to bend it now. And I'm going to straighten here. And then this part, since I haven't pushed it down yet, that part's fine too. I'm going to bend it here. And make sure it's overlapping, maybe about 1/4 of an inch, centimeter, something like that, depending on what kind of scale you're using. Oh no, I have too much. Great. Away. Why is my tape cut so easily? Because I WD-40'd my scissors. Now, we got this current right here. I'll cut a vertical stripe here and cut a vertical stripe here, which allows me to kind of wrap it down, and that'll make it a little cleaner when I'm doing the end parts. Now see how that big old crinkle I have? Just pull, and you could actually use the table, or you could pull and you could guide it with your hand. If you get rid of the extra pockets of air there, you get rid of them permanently. If you leave it in like that, it won't matter in the long run, but it might make you sad or something like that. It's okay. We'll make it through. We'll make it through, Pool Noodle. Good. The goal is about 4 to 5 pieces of tape should be enough to wrap your weapon all the way around. If you use like 6 or 7 pieces of tape, that means you're overlapping a lot. And that could be problematic. You could make it heavier again and have little edges on it or something crazy so that it hurts a little bit more. Here we go again. I was at that same point, so I'm going to keep going in the same direction. So I started here, I'm going here, I'm going here, and I'll keep going around until I get back to the beginning. Again, I'm looking for the middle point about, and I'm just going to touch the middle point with the tape. You hold it stressed out like that. See, I have the dimple right there. Now I open it back up, bend it back, and then let it touch, pulling out that air pocket really quick. Then other side, before I forget, go here, whoop, small bend. You can tell that it's bending correctly since I got the air pocket moving over there. Good, same thing as before, small cut, small cut, there, there, and then ready to bend down. I'll often use my body to make it a little easier. Bend down, keep the bend going, keep the bend going. If there's a little bit of pocket there, that's no bad. See how there's a little crinkle? That shows that it has the elasticity still, and then it'll actually still bend as you're swinging it at people. So I'm overlapping here, here, here. Next line will be here. Looks like that's too big for one piece of tape, so I'm gonna have to use 2 pieces of tape left. That's okay. You're gonna go here. Again, measure it out backwards, give it too much room. When we're using the scissors to cut instead, then we have the nice edge at the top and the bottom. Measuring out long, touching just a little bit of a bump. Just left the middle. I'm even able to touch the bottom side to the table. That helps me have a little bit of guidance here. I'm using that bottom part, pull that back, put a little bit of a guidance there. Good. Then again, I'm trying not to get that middle line, but it's not too big of a deal. This is how close I was. I almost got it with 4 pieces. You almost have to do it perfectly exact to get 4 pieces, and it's not really worth it in my opinion. Oh no, see what I did there is I had too much slack there, so it was harder to cut. Also, this scissor has a sweet spot right about at the bottom inch. And if you have a little bit of pressure while you're scissoring, it's a little easier. Nothing seems good enough, so I'll just go snap, snip, snap, snap, overlap, overlap, snip, snip, over, over. Little glue showing still. No big deal. One more line ought to do it. Good. Great. Make sure you don't cut your fingers off. It's not very good for you. Last piece, I'm going to center it, absolutely center if I can. A little bit of pressure in the middle. Open it back up. Bend it. Got a little bend there. You can see I'm getting in the middle this time. Same thing here. Bend it. Good. Good. Great. Pull. Bend. Bend. Keep myself the right kind of stressed out. Boom. There. Bend. Sideways pressure. Bend. Then the last little part at the top. Same thing as the last 4 rounds. If you catch tape before it solidifies and like that, you could just unfurrow it, unpeel it, whatever it is. Oh my, it's trying to do that hard part. So, cutting slow is a way to make it so the tape has more time to clamp down on your blade. So it's actually harder to cut faster, but it's better for the actual cut to look good. It's better looking cut. Okay, so this happens to be very nice. I'm trying to crinkle it up a little bit of pre-beating it up so that it has a nice spot. I'll even kind of try to crinkle up these edges so they don't feel like they're gonna get nasty India. So you're just crinkling it, crinkling the whole thing. Technically the best thing to do after you duct tape something, this sounds boring, is to put it on the side and leave it for a day. You literally just, every once in a while, you could just reapply it, make sure the glue sets really nicely, and that it stays that way. Let me double check, see if anybody was actually watching, hanging out with us. I have a feeling they weren't, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep on recording this so that we can see one more example. What I'll often do after this point is I will do the decoration after I did the main part of the blade. If I knew I was going to do 2 colors, I would only do the top half and the bottom part, or a lot of times we'll do a handle after we do the top part. So like here's a wooden, not wooden, let's do fun color. Let's do red on the bottom. So if I knew I was going to do red on the bottom, I would have probably done this part pink. But if I wanted to make a fun, cool looking handle at the end, I'm okay with doing it that way. What I do is, I'm not stressing it out right now, I'm not bending it, just because it's almost too hard to bend that small amount. And since I'm overlapping it only a little bit, it won't take it too bad. It'll just be hanging out and doing it. And here I could overlap it even less, like 2 little strings on that end. You could also do this version of it sideways, but I'll show you how I do it, and then you can choose your own way. So again, I'm measuring backwards so that I'm not getting it stuck in the middle of the measurement. And again, I'm trying to overlap it very itty bitty little. Super tiny, not so whiny. Downside is it still looks like there's just that still small fraction that it's going to have to require the 5th piece of tape. That's okay. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll find a little bit thinner pool noodle and you only need 4 pieces, or a little thicker pool noodle and you need 6 pieces or something crazy. Like if you look so close, that little itty bitty line there. Now I might even get creative on how I fix that problem, because if I went here and I cut half a piece of tape and then I did let's see if this tape rips well. Speed rip that. Boom. Bam. So that worked. When you rip vertical, some tape it'll be easy and you'll forget that it was ever a problem, and some tape it'll never rip very easily. Now, what I'll do too is, since this isn't a perfect straight line, I'll actually do a circle around it, which will also help the tape stay in place forever and ever, amen. So I double check the length, remove random piece of schmutz. And then decide that I want the handle just a little bit longer. I'll go to the smallest, lowest part right here so that it will look good and the end point. Then I'll wrap this around. Wrap this around. If it comes up nice, it comes up nice. If it doesn't, then I'll just pull it back, do it again. Boom, boom. Nice little weapon I got here. Fast, sleek, throwable, aerodynamic, non-problematic, pretty darn nice. Sometimes people get creative at the end point too, so they'll be like, you know, Sensei, I think we need some stripes on this guy. So you'll try some stripes. These look like stripes. Fire going here. I enjoy making them a little bit weird, and by weird I mean awesome. I'm gonna do two things. One, I want this thing to be underneath, and I want it to be a spiral. So what I'll do, I'll do a sneaky trick that I learned from my friend Dr. Nick, and I'll take this sealing piece of tape back off, because that'll pretty much add the extra level of perfection at the end. I'll take this guy, super fine. That one looks good. That one looks good. And what I'll do is I'll start on the bottom where it overlaps, and I'll work on a very slight twist so I get back to the top. Oh, that's a twistaroo. Good. Now I'll take the other one. I'll try to go to the opposite side. And I'll try to do that same exact twist. Will it be perfect? Probably not. Will I keep going? Definitely. End goal, make a twist that's similar to the other twist. Haha! It looks like I did a pretty decent job. And this didn't add, 10 pounds of tape onto it. It will end up kind of peeling off at the end. So I have to make up a decision. What do I want to have the tape at the end? I already had the decision made on this side. So what I could do here, I could reuse this tape, or I should have just not used it in the first place if I knew I was going to do that. I go here, wrap the bottom, seal it up. Now that part's going to stay there like that forever. Now the top, I still have this gray tape. So to seal it off, I'll do a little bit less than I need. That's right, I said less than I need. I'm going to go here. Speed is your friend for ripping, speed is your friend for cutting. Then I'll put the nicer side up and the little bit uglier side down. And I'll wrap these underneath to secure them indefinitely. Definitely indefinitely. Good. Great. Got it. Boom. Spiral zebra striped red and silver sword is complete. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this small little weapon making ceremony here. I just wanted to do this because, these guys, $1 each. This guy, well actually this is like an $8 roll of tape. This is like a $6 roll of tape. This probably is a $4.50 roll of tape. So you could have this much. This is probably $100 to $300 worth of tape. I just have been collecting it for years, and anytime I run out, I go back and I buy the stuff that I want. And then sometimes my students will donate these really big fancy pants ones, and I'll make it look really good like this. This one's probably going to be somebody's favorite in the future. All right, double check that it's still good and complete. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Hopefully you guys have a little bit of arts and crafts going on with this, and you can make your own weapons at home. So, thank you. Ray. Woo! Good.